Hey, happy Friday's Eve, everyone. This is John from Crazy Gringo Cigars. Thanks for joining me as I reveal my top 10 list of 2024. Hey, what's up, Avanti? So I got the Instagram going. I got the YouTube going, obviously the main channel. So we'll see who joins in. Thanks, everyone, for joining. But this is an exciting time. This is essentially my last Friday's Eve live of the year. And this is kind of my way to wrap up my year of cigars. So happy Friday's Eve, everyone. While we have people joining, I'm going to go ahead and light up a cigar. So I am going to be smoking my. So I had a back and forth battle about what cigar I was going to smoke. I was thinking about smoking a boutique cigar. In 2024, 2023, my mission was to smoke more boutique brand cigars. But so I had one in mind. But today, when I was at the cigar shop, I saw this cigar. I'm like, you know what? It's probably fitting that I smoke my number one cigar of the year from 2023, which is the EP Carrillo Allegiance Confidant. Now, I have not had one since last year, so I'm excited to light this up. And honestly, we'll compare it, and we'll see how it compares to my top cigar for this year. So I'm excited to explore my previous number one cigar. Hopefully, it's still good. But hope everyone's having a great Friday's Eve. It's almost the weekend. Time to celebrate. Do a nice straight cut. Oh, beautiful draw on the box press. Ooh, hefty. So it's a little windy, and so hopefully not catching too much of that sound on the wind. There we go. Get this thing lit up. Yeah, please let me know if you are smoking on anything or have something lined up for later. All right, now we got this thing going. So yeah, thanks for joining me. If you guys haven't been following me, this week I've labeled it release week for my disappointing cigars, honorable mentions, and then obviously what we're here for tonight, the top 10 cigars. So just to recap 2024 for me in cigars, I set out at the beginning of the year to try more boutique brand cigars, get away from the mainstream cigars and get into more boutique cigars. And so, if I evaluate it myself, I think I did I had a B. I think I found myself having boutique cigars, but then going back to the mainstream. So it was hard to balance. So not every cigar I smoked was a boutique cigar, but I think I did it justice, and I think it's going to shine through in some of my lists. So with that said, we'll head into my disappointed cigars. So it's up on YouTube. So these were the cigars that disappointed me the most, and there's a few I want to point out. Number one is, and I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one, but it was the My Father the Judge. My Father the Judge, a lot of people love this cigar. I've been told that I would like this cigar. I don't know if it was the experience I had at the cigar shop or the fact that it was straight out of the humidor, but I did not enjoy My Father the Judge at all. It was just not a good cigar. It didn't burn well. Just didn't impress me. Also, the Crown Heads Mil Diaz didn't do it for me. Let's see. The Plasencia Cosecha 151. So that's an interesting cigar because I generally like Plasencia cigars, especially the Alma Fuerte with the Ometempe tobacco. But the 151 for me was just such a sharp flavor and a sharp taste that I just did not sit well on my palate. Let's see what else we got here. The Moon Garden Especial was disaster. I think 2024 was the year of warped cigars, warped and Crown Heads. It seemed all the big releases were coming from either warped or Crown Heads. And when you're producing that many cigars, there's gonna be ones that aren't so good. And I think the Moon Garden is just one of those cigars. What's up to everyone on Instagram? Happy Friday's Eve. Thanks for joining. Let's see, the Pappy Van Winkle cigar. I generally like cigars that have been aged in some sort of bourbon and whiskey. Pappy Van Winkle, the cigar literally exploded on me like a firecracker. So that wasn't there. Another one on this list, the Bandolero Series T. I didn't realize I had multiple Bandolero cigars in my humidor. I went to a cigar shop and I saw it. I thought I'd never had it, but came back. The Series T, just not my cup of tea. Not a good cigar. And then the final cigar on this list is the JTL Trinidad Espiritu number 3. Now, before you guys jump on me for this cigar, I've smoked the number 1 and the number 2. I enjoyed the number 1 and number 2. I can't remember if I like number 1 more than number 2. The number 3 though just didn't live up to that hype. It didn't live up to how good the number 2 and the number 1 were. So those were kind of, the big hitters in terms of the cigars that disappointed me in 2024. It's hard to say like worst cigars because anytime you get to come out, relax, enjoy a cigar for 20 minutes, half hour, whatever, what have you, it's a good experience and you're going to get some bad cigars. I will say that in 2024, I smoked a lot more cigars than I did in 2023. So I think I was exposed to a lot more different types and potentially worse cigars. So on Instagram, let me know what you thought about my cigars at the point of me. If you have any opinions, if you agree, disagree. Hopefully some of you guys disagree. So I wanted to get a little, like I said, I smoked a lot more cigars in 2024 than I did in 2023. And I'll be honest, 2024 was a rough year and still has been a rough year for me and my family. And that's okay. Rough years happen. And cigars for me were kind of a way to escape, relax, and kind of, enjoy some things. So, I think I smoked a lot more cigars because of the stress going on, but it did help me relax. So I'm doing something that I don't normally do. Normally I let a cigar rest in my humidor after I buy it, but this is straight out of the humidor today. It's smoking very well. Construction is looking fantastic. The flavor is not as developed as I remembered. So that's interesting. I thought I remember this cigar as something else. So it's interesting smoking this cigar a year later. Let's see. Got some issues with my camera there. Give me 1 second here. Oh, ashed already. No surprise there. Give me 1 second here. Ooh. Sorry, the iPad. Let's see what we got. Sorry, the MacBook. All right, I think we're good. So next, we're going to move on to my honorable mention cigars. And I have a few of them that I want to highlight. And like I said, my mission in 2024 was to smoke more boutique cigars. And I think the boutique cigars that I smoked, I think the list, really shows that they are good cigars. So here is my honorable mentions cigars. So we have at the top of the list, the Silent Hero Founder's Choice, which is a Maduro. That comes from my buddy Bryce at Silent Hero Cigars. Awesome cigar company. Amazing guy. Check out Silent Hero Cigars. He makes a damn good product. I heard that his Candela he said that his Candela is really becoming his calling card, and that's becoming the great cigar. I have some inside. I forgot to grab it. But Silent Hero Cigars, a Founder's Choice. Bryce, keep doing what you're doing. Also, 10% of all the sales from Bryce's cigars go to help veterans with PTSD. So it's an awesome cause over there, but more importantly, he makes a better cigar. Next, this is a cigar that I picked up in St. Lucia. It is the St. Lucia Habano. And I actually got to smoke this with my buddy Hugo from Hugo Smokes on a live. And he said it was a box-worthy cigar. And for me, it wasn't at the box-worthy level. It was a very good cigar. It got some interesting Caribbean spices on it. It just didn't crack the top list, but it was close. It was on the initial list. To be honest, my top list I finalized it about 20 minutes ago. So just to keep things in perspective here. But, you know, another top cigar or honorable mention is the St. Lucia Habano. Next, we have the CAO America, which I smoked on baseball opening day. It's a great cigar, hit all the flavor notes I wanted, and really hit the mark for baseball opening day. The next one, this one could have been on my top list, and I think it was in my top list for a little bit until I did the final, and that's the J.C. Newman Julius Caesar. I think this might be the cigar that I smoked the most in 2024. And, you know, I smoked it a lot because it was a good cigar and I kept going back to it, which, you know, I struggled with. Does that mean it should make my top list? And then when I compared it to the other cigars on my top list, I came to the conclusion that it's a solid cigar. It's a damn good cigar, but it doesn't wow me. But it's a consistent cigar that I enjoy. This is almost a completely different cigar smoking experience than when I smoked it a year ago, and it made my number one. I think it needs some age, but it's a completely different cigar. It's still good, but not as good as I remember. So that's interesting. Moving down the list, El Popo. This is not the Vitola that I had, but El Popo was a solid cigar, San Andreas wrapper. That honorable mention, great cigar. This next one on here is the Howard GAP. I don't know how to pronounce it. Io Fakin. It's a Ike Taylor cigar. Ike Taylor is a famous former professional football player who has his own cigar line. And I really wasn't expecting much from this cigar. I picked it up at a cigar shop back home in New Jersey. And I really enjoyed it. The band on it is really cool. It's like a Joker-esque band. So solid cigar. Next, we have the Flor de Castillo. Flor de Castillo cigars, a Siglo 6 limited edition. I heard Flor de Castillo is not really found in the United States, but the local B&M store where I live had this cigar, and it was a solid cigar. It surprised me, and I really enjoyed it. Next, we have the Drunk Chicken cigars, the Mother Clucker. You heard that correctly, the Mother Clucker, drunk chicken cigars. That's a mouthful. Black-owned cigar company. They make a great cigar. They also have an amazing sweet tip cigar. But the Mother Clucker, I actually enjoyed it on Smoking Sounds Pod with my boys Justin and Sean on Smoking Sounds Pod, and that's the cigar I had. And I chose it because of the name. I thought it was funny. But Drunk Chicken cigars, check them out. They make boutique cigars. They make a great cigar. Next, one of my favorite cigar shops in Little Havana, the Federico Empire, Master Reserve, Connecticut. Just a wonderful, smooth, creamy, tasty smoke throughout. And then finally, the Foundation, the Wise Man, which was, I was worried about that cigar because it's a broadleaf. I was afraid it was going to overpower me, but it didn't. It was a solid cigar. So as you can see with my honorable mentions, I think I did boutique cigars justice. I'll be honest, there were not many boutique cigars I had that I was disappointed by. I was disappointed by more mainstream cigars this year. So you have the disappointed list. You have the honorable mentions list. I'm going to take a few puffs of the EP Carrillo, and then we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, my top list of 2024. Please let me know what you think about my list. If you've had any of these cigars, some cigars like the St. Lucia Habano, you're not going to be able to find it unless you go to St. Lucia. So just keep that in mind. To everyone on YouTube, thanks for joining. Hope everyone's having a great night. Happy Friday's Eve. You guys are just joining for the best part. We're about to get into the top 10 list. So we just went over the cigars that disappointed me, and then the cigars that the honorable mentions. And for those of you just joining, I am smoking my number one cigar of the year for 2023, which is the EP Carrillo Allegiance and Confidant. It's a Toro, box press Toro, and it's starting to get better. But the initial puffs, not necessarily what I remembered from last year when it made my number one list. As it's smoking right now, I don't think this would make my top list again, which is interesting. So before we get into the top list, and I gotta give a shout out to Sean from Smoking Sounds Pod. What's up, man? Thanks for joining. So I gotta give some background on how I did my list. So overall, I think I had better cigars in 2023 than I did in 2024. When I had cigars in 2023, they truly blew me away. When I had cigars in 2024, they were good, but I think because I smoked more, the blow awayness factor kind of diminished a little bit. But I would think my list from 2023 had better cigars on it than 2024. Now, like I said, my mission in 2024 was to smoke more boutique cigars. And as the honorable mention list shows, I think I did it justice. And we'll see if they made it onto the top list. We still have the top list to go. So before we get into the number 10, there are two cigars that I really want to mention that I think really, I almost had a top 12 list. And then I said, no, I should really do top 10. But I had a top 12 list because there's two cigars on here that I think could compete with my top 10, obviously in my opinion. But when I looked back on it and to do justice to boutique cigars, I think I made the right choice. So give me 1 second here. Okay, the flavor is starting to pick up a little bit. Obviously, this cigar is right out of the humidor today, so that could be affecting it a little bit. But the two cigars that I didn't mention, the honorable mentions that could have easily made it in my top 10, are the Casa Cuba Florfina, made by Arturo Fuente Cigars. Just a solid cigar, good cigar. Was in my top 12. Could have been a top 10 cigar for me. Just an amazing cigar from Arturo Fuente. The next cigar, I think I'm going to get some flack for. I know some people don't agree with me with this one, but it is the Joya de Nicaragua Cinco de Cinco. This cigar could have also been in my top 10, and actually it was in my top 10 until I knocked it out. I knocked it out because of the experience I had. It was a really good cigar, but I think the other cigars on my list, the experience was a little better. So two cigars that deserve honorable mentions, could have easily been 11 and 12 on the list. Could have easily competed for the number 10 spot, but just didn't make it. So Ben on YouTube. Ben, thanks for joining. No worries, brother. He said, I'll be trying the Cinco next year. Definitely give it a try. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I really enjoyed it. A lot more than I thought. And I think I had another Joya de Nicaragua cigar that I also enjoyed as well. We got Ruben saying the Cinco was a damn good stick. Yeah, so I'm not alone. It was a really good cigar from Joya de Nicaragua. They did well. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. Let's start this top 10 list and let's see what we're doing here. So the number 10 cigar of the year for Crazy Gringo. Kind of sad, actually. You can't get the cigar anymore. The company, due to some bad business practices, couldn't continue. They shut down their cigar making operations. Maybe they will return. I hope so, because they created some good cigars. What's up, Frank? Thanks for joining, man. But that cigar is the Line of Duty, the Unknown. The Line of Duty is made by, I believe, veterans or first responders. It was a veteran first responder-owned company. The Unknown was one of their cigars that they made. This is a cigar I picked up at a local cigar shop in New Jersey, and I wasn't expecting much from it. I picked up a cigar that I'd never seen before, and I was like, you know what? I want to give this one a try. It looks interesting. And the cigar owner, my friend Chris, said, John, it's a good cigar. You should give it a go. So I tried it, and it was just a damn good cigar. Left me feeling good. It was, I think that was my Veterans Day cigar. I thought it was very appropriate for Veterans Day. Ben says, I hope the Unknown comes back. So do I. They did a really good job with that cigar. So the number 10 cigar is the Line of Duty, the Unknown. One thing I want to mention too, I think in 2023, I did a much better job taking notes of my cigars. I I wrote everything down. This year I relied more on Instagram. And so I went back to my videos, went back through Instagram to see what cigars I like. So if I'm not that specific on the flavor notes, you're going to have to try it yourself to understand what I'm talking about. So the number 9 cigar of the year for Crazy Gringo, story behind the cigar. And you know what I'm finding is I have more stories behind cigars, and the better stories I have, the better the cigar, the better the experience. And I think that's that's a huge part of it. So I met the owner of this cigar company in Washington, D.C. through the Wolfpack Cigar Club. So shout out to the Wolfpack Cigar Club. If there's any fellow wolves on the tuning in right now. This guy, me and him, I went over to him. I said, Mario? He goes, yes. I'm like, oh, Wolfpack Cigar Club. Mario and I got to talking. Turns out he was a Army Special Forces, worked in the government, cancer survivor 2 times. Yep, Frank already knows. It is the Casa Caraballo, their 828 Oscuro. So the number 9 cigar of the year for Crazy Gringo is the Casa Caraballo 828 Oscuro. Mario is just an awesome guy. He gave me the cigar out of his personal pouch. You know, it was really funny. We were sitting next to each other, and he was giving his cigars out to other people. And I turned to him and I go, I've never had one of your cigars. And he goes, really? Here you go. And what's funny is I was about to cut the cigar, and he goes, no. He takes it from me. He says, cut it on an angle. It's going to enhance the flavor. This is a cigar I also featured when I was doing the Crazy Gringo Cigar Club. This is one of the cigars I featured. Casa Caraballo also has an amazing cigar called the Silverback. Boutique cigar brand, fantastic cigar maker, fantastic cigars. So check out Casa Caraballo. So that was my number 9 cigar. Number 9 cigar, the Casa Caraballo 828 Oscuro. That wind is really picking up. Also, talking about the Oscuro, this was really the first Maduro cigar I had. I had this cigar earlier in 2024 and kind of set me down a path of having Oscuro, having Maduro cigars, and I really enjoyed the sweetness of them. Hey, what's up, Hugo? Thanks for jumping in, man. Thanks for joining my hermano. Shout out to my hermano, Hugo from Hugo Smokes. Sorry, I almost said Hugo Blends. Hugo, the St. Lucia Habano made my honorable mentions. Didn't quite crack the top 10, though. I'll be honest, the EP Carrillo Allegiance a year later, completely different smoke. And I don't know if that's because my palate has changed and because I've been exposed to so much more, so many different cigars. But the flavor profile isn't sticking with me as much as it did last year. So let's see. We got number 8. So like I said earlier, I believe that 2024 was the year of Warped, the year of Crowned Head cigars. This cigar pays homage to Cuba, an island off of Cuba. So it is the Warped Isla de Cocodrillo. Now, I smoked the cigar. I had to go back and watch the video. And during the smoke, I said, this is a top cigar. And I just remember this cigar being a solid smoke, smooth smoke, one of the better Warped cigars that I have had. So the number 8 cigar is the Isla de Cocodrillo from Warped Cigars. What's up to everyone on Instagram? Sorry I'm late responding. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. You know what this flavor profile reminds me of? My Father the Judge, which I did not enjoy. So it's so interesting. I'm not enjoying my number 1 cigar from 2023. It's disappointing a little bit, but it happens. All right. My number, Ruben got some shout outs going. All right. So my number 7 cigar of the year. I saw a lot of the people on, doing cigar reviews, having the cigar, talking it up a lot. And I said, you know what? I got to get one. If everyone's talking about it, it's got to be a good cigar. And sure enough, it was. It is the Ashton ESG, estate grown. So the Ashton estate grown. This is not the Vitola I had. I had the Figurado, the full length Figurado. That was so, but I believe this is a little different. Which one is this? This is the Saluda. So number 7 cigar, the Ashton ESG. This is a great solid smoke, higher end luxury cigar. Please let me know in the comments what you guys think of my list so far, if you agree with any. Obviously, the Oscuro is a top 10 cigar for some people, but let me know what you think about the list so far. Let's see. So yeah, my number 6 cigar. So this cigar comes from one of the cigar factories in on Calle Ocho, Titon de Bronce. Now, Titon de Bronce does a lot of cigar manufacturing for the big companies. They also make their own blends. I will be honest, I like the cigars they make for the bigger companies than they do their own. For me, their own cigars are a little too sharp in taste, and the flavor profile is not as good. But this one is the Gloria Cuba, 8th Street, Miami. That's my number 6 cigar of the year. When I had this cigar, it reminded me of Calle Ocho. It reminded me of Miami. I think I had this in Miami. It's hard. It was hard to find until I saw it. I'm like, yes, I remember how much I enjoyed this cigar. So check it out. Made by Titon de Bronce on Calle Ocho. So that's number 10 through 6. So we got the top 5 coming up. Let me know what you guys think. Please, I'm curious to know. That's what it's all about. So once we get through the top 10 list, I'm going to kind of talk about what the plan for Crazy Gringo Cigars is in 2024 or 2025. Sorry. I'm getting my years all screwed up. We got Ben saying solid list so far. All stuff I haven't had, but we'll try to find what's around. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it. And obviously, if you try the cigars on my list, let me know what you think. So my number 5 cigar. I struggled putting this cigar in the list, but not because it was a good cigar, but because I revisited this cigar in 2024. The first time I had this cigar, I was not impressed. Just didn't do it for me. The flavors weren't right. I had it a year later, and my perspective completely changed. I don't know if my palate changed or the cigar just required a year of age in the humidor. But this cigar, if you want a chocolatey cigar, beautiful San Andreas wrapper, then I highly recommend my number 5 cigar. And I know there's a lot of shit said about, this cigar maker because there's so many, but truly hit the nail on the head here. That's the Rocky Patel 60. Rocky Patel 60 is the number 5 cigar of the year. A full body cigar, lots of chocolate. Very chocolatey cigar. So if you like chocolate in your cigar, check it out. Rocky Patel 60. All right. Number 4. Got a story for this one too. Like I said, the more stories I have, the better story I have. I tend to enjoy this cigar a little bit more. And it really plays into the fact that cigars are an experience. And if you have a better experience with it, you're probably going to have a better experience. If you're in the right environment, the right atmosphere, you're probably going to enjoy the cigar a little bit more. So my number 5 cigar. And there's a reason this cigar is on the list. There's 2 reasons. One, it's a damn good cigar. But 2, my wife enjoyed this cigar. If my wife is enjoying a cigar, that's telling me something that, hey, this is a good cigar. She'll occasionally take a few puffs from my cigar here and there. This one she could have had all on her own. So we were in Pensacola. There's an awesome cigar lounge. I can't remember the name of it, but there's an awesome cigar lounge this is Gainesville. This is in Gainesville, Florida. My bad. There's an awesome cigar lounge in Gainesville, Florida. And they had this cigar, and I've never had it before. But it is the Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva. My number 4 cigar, the Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva. If you like honey, crisp, a little butter, and just a solid smoke that's not going to leave too bad of an aftertaste on your palate, definitely try the Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva, my number 4 cigar. Yeah, the EP Carrillo Allegiance isn't doing it for me like it did a year ago. That's crazy how the palate changes and how the perspective changes. So my number 3 cigar, I don't have, but I'll post a picture of it in a second. When I was starting to do lives, when I realized that lives were the medium and how I wanted to present cigar information, and it just came easier to my schedule, I reached out to a couple of people, random messages, just, hey, my name is John from Crazy Gringo Cigars. Can you tell me about your brand? I would love to do a live with you. I reached out to this cigar owner. Turns out he's from Philadelphia, currently living in the Dominican Republic. His cigar was just featured in the Luxury Cigar Club, Sapphire Club, not the one that I chose, but he sent, it's a luxury cigar, and they're quite pricey. I'm not going to lie about that. And he was generous enough to send me an entire sampler free of charge for our live, which was awesome and just showed the generosity. Funny story behind, this brand. I had him on my live, and I was smoking one of his cigars. And on that live, the cigar was not performing well. And I'm like, it's a cigar person's worst nightmare when you're doing a live, because you're trying to promote a brand, you're trying to engage in a conversation. Well, I'll be honest, I was focused on trying to get the cigar to survive. So if you watch the live, and I'm sure you've heard this story, I'm sitting there literally with my lighter, trying to fix up the cigar, trying to bring it back to life. So that was one of the cigars. But what was crazy is, about 2 or 3 days before that, in preparation for the live, I smoked one of his other cigars, and it was truly one of the best cigars I've ever had. The draw was incredible. The flavors were there. It dark wrapper. The flavors were there. It was, if I remember, cocoa, chocolate. It was a little sweet, but the draw is what really made it, and it all came together. And I remember at the end of it, smoking the cigar, I was like, that was a damn good cigar. And I actually forgot about it until I went back and like, wait a minute, I really enjoyed the cigar. So my number 3 cigar of the year is the Vicente Blends War. What's really cool about Vicente Blends, and I should have brought it out here with me, they don't have wrappers on the cigars. It's a metal ring, and this cigar's ring was a black ring, but it has gold as well. But just a really good cigar. Vince is a really good guy, extremely gracious, provided me a lot of insight with what it's like in the cigar industry. He has nailed it when it comes to perfect draw on his cigars. That's something that he emphasizes, that, he basically expresses frustration that when you smoke a cigar and it's clogged up or it's not pulling right, it could ruin the experience. And he's absolutely right. So this cigar, the War, I wish I would have smoked this one on the live, because it would have been a great experience, but the one I had didn't. But the Vicente Blends War is my number 3 cigar of the year. Has anyone else had Vicente Blends? Or heard about it by now? All right. On the EP Carrillo Allegiance, I'm getting hints of why it was my number 1 cigar, but it's not as good of an experience as the last one I had. All right. So we're down to the final 2 cigars. Let's just jump right into it. So if you guys know me, you guys know I like pepper on a cigar. I like dark wrappers. I like full body. I like a lot of flavor. I also really, really enjoy cigars that have Ometempe tobacco. Ometempe is an island off the coast of Nicaragua that's a volcanic island. And so, in my opinion, when you're smoking an Ometempe cigar, you get a taste of sulfur. Now, it's not like a disgusting taste of sulfur. It's a really nice taste of sulfur that tastes a little volcanic. So in true Crazy Gringo fashion, I found another Ometempe tobacco cigar that I enjoyed. And I know there's mixed reviews about this one. I know people have said it's trash or didn't perform well, but I loved it. And I just had it recently. I just had it within the past week and a half. And that is the HVC Black Friday 2024 Ometempe. My number 2 cigar of the year. I think I will always like cigars with Ometempe. There's something about them that hits my palate the right way. And so I'm very happy to have the Black Friday HVC 2024 Ometempe as my number 2 cigar of the year. Just ash on me. I hope everyone saw that. So just to recap what we got for my top 10 so far as we get our way to my number one. The number 10 cigar was the Line of Duty Unknown. Great cigar from a company that unfortunately is no longer in business. Number 9 was the Casa Caraballo 828 Oscuro. Number 8 was the Warped Isla de Cocodrillo. Number 7, the Ashton ESG, just an elegant smoke. Could have been higher, but when I compared it to the top other cigars, it didn't quite match up. It didn't push the barrier for me. Number 6, made by Titon de Bronze, but the Gloria Cubana, 8th Street, Miami. Number 6. Number 5, if you love chocolate, check out the cigar. It is the Rocky Patel 60, which is a cigar I revisited. So this is actually the second time I smoked it this year. I forgot to mention too, the criteria for my list was these are just cigars that I've smoked in 2024. They didn't have to come out in 2024. I had the cigar in 2024 to keep it easy. Number 4, you have the Arturo Fuente Gran Reserva, just a smooth, sweet, honey, crispy, buttery smoke. Number 2, like I just said, the HPC Black Friday 2024. So that is my numbers 10 through 2. Now my number 1 cigar, I got it as part of a cigar club. I forget which one. Wasn't expecting much from it. I grabbed it and I said, let me try it. Let me give it a go. And for me, this cigar was truly a masterpiece of a cigar. The cigar line, what they're trying to do is recreate a culinary experience. And no bullshit, this cigar was like a culinary experience. It was like a 5-course, 7-course meal, what have you. Each part of the cigar was a little different, but it got better and better as it got on and it built up. And so with that, Crazy Gringo's number 1 cigar of the year for 2024 is the Septimo Culinary Arts Collection Toscana. Just an amazing cigar, masterpiece. They did an excellent job recreating a culinary experience. It was a fantastic cigar from start to finish. And this is, my number 1 cigar is a cigar I did not waver on. I knew that this was going to be my number 1 cigar of the year for a while. So number 1 cigar of the year, the Septimo Culinary Arts Collection Toscana. With that said, that's the top list for Crazy. That's my top list of 2024. That is the top 10. I'm going to do an Instagram post after this, and you can see all the cigars and let me know what you think. Please comment. But what a year of cigars. I'm a little disappointed in the EP Carrillo right now. At first, at the offset of this, I thought that my 2023 list was a lot stronger than my 2024 list. But based on how this EP Carrillo is performing, maybe my 2024 list is a little better than the 2023. It'll be interesting to see. We got Frank from Texas Cigar Society saying great list. Besides for the Ometempe, personal preference there, brother. That's okay. So with that said, that really wraps up 2024 for Crazy Gringo Cigars. So what's next for Crazy Gringo Cigars, the brand, the channel? So I have a mission for 2025 in terms of cigars. I have 2 missions. I want to smoke more Lanceros and Candela cigars. So that is going to be the cigars that I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on. That I want to smoke. I really haven't gotten into Lancero cigars, but because the wrappers are so long, you get more flavor and it's a more delicate smoke and a more eloquent smoke. So, and then Candelas have always scared me. I've had one Candela and it just didn't do it for me. But as we've seen, my palate has changed a little bit from year to year. So I think I'm ready for Candelas, and I'm going to try to appreciate it. Another thing I'm going to try to do in 2025 for Friday's Eve, I'm going to continue doing Friday's Eve lives. I think they're awesome. But I'm going to try to bring Friday's Eve to local cigar lounges and do them from local cigar lounges. The first cigar lounge I'm going to feature is going to be Kunka Cigars in Hollywood, Florida. I have a great relationship with the manager there. Me and her are going to do a live. I'm going to do it from their shop, I think on their front porch. So I'm really excited for that. I'm probably also going to check out Smokin' Daddy Cigar Lounge, which is owned by Mario from Casa Caraballo. Do a live over there. So I'm going to try to get out to the cigar lounges and do Friday's Eve from there. So that's the plan for 2025. Let's see what Hugo said. Okay, yep. I had the Culinary and Negroni. Yep. So back to the number one cigar, the Culinary Arts Collection. There's 4 cigars. There's the Nigiri, the Toscana, the Viejo, and then I can't remember the last one, but there's 4 different flavors. But with that said, that's all I got from Crazy Gringo for 2024. Thank you, everyone, for the support. To all my cigar friends out there, you guys know who you are. Thank you for your support with what's been going on with me personally. Won't get into it here, but thank you very much. It means a lot. Your friendship means a lot. And it's all because of this. It's all because of a cigar that you can make friends, create a community, become part of the community, share your opinions, have some fun in the process. So I'm going to stay on for a little longer as I smoke this down. Feel free to drop some comments in there. Feel free to interact. Let me know what you thought about my list. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. And like I said, stay tuned for an Instagram post. Oh, yeah. Oh, how could I forget? So I am last year what I did was I did a giveaway for my top cigars. I am going to do that again. What we're going to do is it's going to be my first Friday's Eve in 2025. So on the post for my top list, there will be a way to enter the giveaway. So pay attention to that. And I usually throw in some extra cigars there too. I got a lot of cigars I can get rid of. So stay tuned for that. Everyone, thanks for joining. Hugo, Ben, Frank, Ruben, appreciate it. Wolfpack, Yosli, thanks for joining, man. But happy Friday's Eve. Have a safe weekend. Have a happy holidays. And Crazy Gringo, we'll see everyone in 2025. Appreciate it, everyone. I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer and smoke down this cigar. You know, while I'm still staying on, kind of look back at my 2024 in review in terms of what I did. Had some really cool experiences, great lives. Did a live with Hugo from Hugo Smokes. I was able to get on to Smoking Sounds Pod. I'd never listened to podcasts before. I've become great friends with Sean from Smoking Sounds Pod. They had me on their podcast, which was an awesome experience. Had Vicente from Vicente Blends. The most meaningful live I did was with Bryce from Silent Hero Cigar. The most meaningful live I did was with Bryce from Silent Hero Cigar. I tell everyone, check it out. Bryce is a veteran, is the owner and founder of Silent Hero Cigars. He suffered and suffers from PTSD. Just an eye-opening conversation about what he's been through and how he's gotten to get to the point where he is today, which is in a great state. That was truly an amazing live, very powerful, and changed my life a little bit. I'll be honest. It was just amazing. Also got to do a Veterans Day live with John from Cigar Vet, Bryce, and then Mario from Casa Caraballo on Veterans Day to pay homage to the president. Also in 2024, I launched my cigar, the Homage. Came out with the Connecticut and Sumatra, the Homage. Had a really cool moment with all my friends at my going away party in Washington, D.C. All my friends got to smoke my cigar. So that was a really cool experience. So it was a big year for Crazy Gringo Cigars. My own cigar, did a lot more lives, produced some videos. I think I only produced 3. Maybe I'll try to produce more in 2024. But like I said, lives are really the easier platform and the easier model for me. I like this medium in terms of being able to free flow and, being able to just kind of speak my mind. It's pretty therapeutic for me. So it was a big year for Crazy Gringo Cigars in 2024. Ben from Ben Smoking says, very unique list. Love it. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate the support. Have I tried anything else from EP Carrillo? I think I have had the EP Carrillo Platinum Bash, and I've had one more, the Historia. I think I had the Historia, and they are also good cigars. I think EP Carrillo does cigars, does a great job in terms of construction, You know what you're getting. It's going to be an elevated experience. And for me, EP Carrillo cigars are special because last year when I smoked the Allegiance, I went from enjoying cigars to appreciating cigars. That was a cigar I had where I was up that point, I was enjoying cigars, but I had a cigar and I went, oh, this is what a high quality cigar is. This is what a luxury cigar is. And so EP Carrillo, the Allegiance and EP Carrillo's line will always have a special place for me. Yeah, these flavors are a lot different than I remember. It's good, but it's just not as good as I remember, which is interesting. I thought it would be the same experience. I was really excited. I'm happy I re-smoked this one, but I think the Culinary Arts was a little better of a cigar. So let me post my top list again so you guys can see it. There you go. It took me a while to come up with my list. I was working on this list until about 20 minutes before I went live, just moving some things around and whatnot. But this is what it ended up being, and once again, I'm happy with my list. I'm happy where it is. Having boutique cigars was an awesome experience, getting exposure to the boutique brands out there. I'm happy I went on that journey. Solid cigars, really consistent smokes, I would say. I don't think I had a bad boutique cigar experience. And my honorable mentions list speaks a lot to that. And even on this list, you got Vicente Blends, you got the Casa Caraballo, and then you got the Line of Duty Unknown. 3 boutique cigars made my top list. So I think I did them justice. I hope I did them justice. But I'm like I said, I'm happy with my list. But for everyone on YouTube, I'm going to sign off. I'm going to stay live on Instagram. Got some people on. But to everyone who's supported me, all my friends out there in the cigar community, thank you very much. Happy Friday's Eve. Happy 2024. Happy holidays. Have a happy new year. Reach out. I'll be reaching out to you for lives. I got some people in mind. Ben, can't wait to be on your live with you. That's gonna be a highlight of 2025, I'm sure. I forgot to mention, I went live with Ben from Ben Smoking in 2024 as well. So sorry about that, Ben. But thank you very much. Take care. Crazy Gringo signing off. Have a great rest of your night and have a great weekend, everyone.